Okay, in this lesson, we're going to talk about your ads are running now. What do you do? And this is the hardest thing. You got to be patient. When you start your Facebook ads, when you start any ads, whether this is right from, the start of the campaign, or if you're adding new ads in as you're optimizing, or if you're making, whatever it is, you've got to wait at least 72 hours before making any changes to them. This is the hardest thing to do. I realize that. You start your ads and you wait a few hours, you want to see results. You've got to give them time to get into Facebook's algorithm, okay? So because the algorithm is trying to get you results, and it's setting up your campaign to get you results and setting up your ads in, going on the back end of Facebook there. You've got to give Facebook's algorithm time. If after 3 to 5 days, then you're not happy with the results, that's when you start optimizing. Okay, so what numbers are you looking at? In this module here, this is what we're going to be talking about, all right? And a big caveat as we start to dive into some of those benchmark numbers, since every niche is different, just remember that results are going to vary greatly. What a good result for you might be terrible for somebody else, and vice versa. So you've got to remember that when you start to optimize your ads, so after your ads have been running for those 3 to 5 days, then you start to look at the numbers to figure out, do you need to make what kind of changes that you might need to make. The first numbers that you want to look at are going to be dependent on what your objective is. So for example, if your objective is website conversions, the first number that I want you to look at is, what is that cost per conversion? All right. And then after that, how many conversions have you had, and how much money have you spent in order to get those conversions? Those are the first 3 numbers I want you to look at. Don't be distracted by all the other numbers that Facebook gives you. Don't worry, we'll dive into those. But first and foremost, look at the result that aligns with your objective. Then likewise, for like if your objective is traffic or clicks to website, as Facebook likes to call it sometimes, look at what your cost per click is. Okay, and then you can look at the click-through rate and how many clicks to your landing page. See, what we're doing here is we're looking at the stats first and foremost that are relevant to the objective that you're using. Okay, now good, quote unquote. Notice the quotes that good is in. This is going to be subjective, but I want to try to give you some guidelines here. Cost per lead, I'd love to see you under $8. Now, for many businesses out there, whether this is your own business or a business that you're managing ads for, B2B business is going to be higher, for example. Try and shoot for under $8 as a cost per lead. That is a rough guideline. I can't caveat that enough for you. If you know roughly what your cost per lead should be and the results that you're getting, so for example, if you've been running Facebook ads for a little while, and whether this is for your own business or a business that you're managing ads for, and you kind of know what their cost per lead should be or what your cost per lead should be, and then you start seeing results of about 3x your expectations on that cost per lead. So for example, if you're expecting $5 and then your ads have been running for 3 to 5 days, and all of a sudden you're seeing $15, something's up. You need to make some changes there. So that's pause your ad and test something new. So I would use that sort of 3x threshold on your cost per lead. Another sort of rough guideline, I'd like to see under $1 for your cost per click. And so again, some of you might be saying, well, Rick, $1 is really high for cost per click. Again, this is going to vary from niche to niche, but in general, try to stay under $1 on that cost per click. Click-through rate, I would say across the board, you want to be at least at 1%, okay? And this is regardless of what niche you're in. So at least at 1%. Same thing for the landing page conversion rate. Now, this is for a free opt-in. This is not for a sale. This is for a free opt-in. So if somebody is downloading or accessing a discount code or a free offer or a cheat sheet or a checklist or a webinar registration, whatever it might be, I'd like to see a landing page conversion rate of at least 20%, okay? And the landing page conversion rate, all that is the number of people who are clicking to the landing page and then the number of people who are divided by the number of people who are converting on that landing page. And that's your conversion rate, okay? The reach, okay? The reach is the number of people that your ad is being shown to. And I like to have a reach of at least 1,000 people before optimizing. Now, if you have run your ads for 3 to 5 days and you're not at that 1,000 mark, I would say that's okay at that point. I would start to make some, start to look at the numbers at that point. So if you're not at 1,000 after 3 to 5 days, then I would say, okay, probably time to still look at the numbers and what changes do I need to make. So that's just sort of a rough guideline there for you as far as the 1,000 people. Then we have the frequency, and the frequency is simply the average number of times a person has seen your ad. Okay, so if the frequency goes above 4, I would say it's time to refresh your ad, because the higher the frequency, the more times that one person is seeing that ad, and they're just going to start to tune it out. So I try to keep that frequency between 1 and 3, maybe 4, but it's getting up there if it gets over 4. Okay, so the frequency, average number of times a person has seen your ad. Now let's talk about relevance score. Okay, the relevance score is a rating of 1 to 10, and it's based on how your targeted audience is responding to your ad. And when I say responded, meaning are they clicking on your ad? Are they commenting? Are they sharing? Are they liking? Are they interacting with your ad? And the higher the score, the closer you are to 10, the lower the cost that you're going to pay for your ad, and Facebook is going to show that ad to more people. Okay, so if you're in that 7 to 10 range for your relevance score, keep it up. Nice work with that. If you're in that 4 to 6 range, not too bad, but do keep an eye on it, and keep an eye on the performance of your ad. If you're in that 1 to 3 range on the relevance score, your ad is not resonating with your audience, so it's time to change up something. Now, unfortunately, when it comes to relevance score, it's really hard to say, okay, change this up, because it could be your ad. Maybe the offer that you're making in your ad is not resonating with your target audience, or maybe the image is terrible and just people are not clicking on your ad, or maybe the ad copy is not communicating the offer very well. Or it could be that your target audience is just completely off. You could have a great ad, but it's not targeted to the right audience. So that's why it's really hard to say do this if your relevance score is low. Oftentimes, the target audience is pretty good, and the ad itself is not very good. Now, I mean, again, not all the time, so I don't want to make I don't want to make a general statement there, but just kind of give you some guideline and feedback there on relevance score. Okay, so here's some other reasons that your ads might be failing. You want to make sure that to check your pixel and make sure that that's tracking conversions correctly. Okay, really important. We talked about the landing page conversion. Okay, so how is that landing page conversion? How is that landing page converting? Excuse me. It should be at least 20%. Okay, so if you're sending a good amount of traffic to your landing page and the landing page isn't converting, well, then we know it's a landing page issue. Okay, because the ad itself is working, and then the landing page is not. Okay, and then we just talked about the relevance score. If it's low, then you might want to consider changing up things like your your image, your ad copy, the offer, or the targeting. Okay. And again, I'd love to say just do this one thing if your relevance score is low, but unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. So let's go into Ads Manager and take a look at, in the next lesson here, creating those custom reports and looking at these numbers in Ads Manager.